back to my stream. Discerning Voices at it again. Today, a Hispanic male decided to say that he doesn't want me to use the baby seat, a baby seat that I've been using for a whole month here since Battery Park Library's been closed. He stood in front of me and I asked him, "Hey, is someone going to use that baby seat? You have someone that's going to use it? Not. I just don't want you to use it. I'm going to put it somewhere else." How does that sound like? Does it sound dystopic to you? To me, it is, because we know these people are just a science experiment. The majority of Hispanics or South America as a whole, it's across the globe, including Brazil. They have a lot of pride for their country, but they make colonies everywhere they go. They're just so focused on growth and development that they think about their oppressor, right? They blame someone as their oppressors, but don't see their behavior that is worse or identical than the nation that harbored them in the first place. They're worse than Spain back in the day. They're worse than the Americas. They're worse than the old world. They just leave their country and never come back. And once they leave, they want to decide if you could use a baby cart or not. Once they leave, they want to decide if you deserve a promotion after 10 years of service, if you deserve an award recognition in 10 years of service, because this is what these people do. Why are they why are they so counterculture? Why aren't they live and let live people and are always just tense and looking to dominate other people? Well, based on their gene structure. Very calm genes have few genes in their DNA. Europeans are pretty calm, Germans are pretty calm. So they have a DNA structure in which comprises or two or three or maybe even four locations around the world, and it's within their general area. They intermixed by force with slaves. The majority of the Caribbean intermixed by force with slaves. So in the end, they have a DNA structure that for some of them makes them stronger and better, but for the other makes them deformed. You could tell that the Puerto Rican phenotype has low decile scale for the majority. Low decile scale, low attractiveness, low capacity, not even capable of holding a job because they can't get a job. They could either plant seeds on the ground, fruits or whatever, but they're not capable of sustaining life. That's why they're in welfare, SNAP, Section 8, so on and so forth, NPR, and they're the people that you could tell that there's a problem with them. And how did that problem get started? Well, Haoroa, which means uh, sugarcane workers came to the town to sleep with a white woman. These are cultures in Puerto Rican history that you have to look for. You have to look at um, really low, you know, IQ capacity, the slaves intermixing with the Spaniards and the Native Americans and the Taino culture there. That's where you get why these people have 20 races, why these people are fully capable of going to space. They're really smart, and why half of them is not normal. They're just not normal. They're all sociopaths and dangerous. And it comes from the 20 list of DNAs that is not found anywhere else in the world, but in places in which this experimentation took place. You look at someone from Mexico, inner Mexico, deep inner Mexico, their heritage is Aztec, is Mexican, 100%. You look deep in Europe, you're gonna find German, you're gonna find Polish, you're gonna find Czech, you're gonna find Kazakhstan, you're gonna find close, neighboring, 100 miles, 1,000 miles close. Theirs are deep in Africa, Congo, Somali, the center, the south, the middle, the east of Africa. They're from everywhere. They're from everywhere. They're mixed. They're so much of a mutt that it destroys the DNA. It's something that's not normal. You don't see that anywhere else around the world other than PR. PR is the only race that has 25 races. And why did they do that? Because of the cultures from the slaves, tying up the white woman so that the slaves sleep with it, slaves asking for women to sleep with it and then assigning women to sleep with the slaves. That's the first way. And later on in the 20s and 30s, the sugarcane workers coming to town to, cultures that technically the only place in the world that a white woman is going to want to sleep with the black man is going to be PR. In PR, just be like, yeah, he has money, go sleep with that man. That's where that's coming from. And you could tell that in the old world, the older ladies, that's all they told their daughters. You look for yourself for a black man because the black man got the money. The black man working the sugarcane. The black one controls the railroad. The black man is it's in business. It's making the money. All these Africans, right, or the remnants of the slave culture from the sugar canes into the towns to intermix with the Spaniards and the Tainos and whomever else was there that was white. And then in the end, 60 years later, 100 years later, you get this strength based on cultural decisions, cultural norms and customs of white and black, of interracial shit, and you get him this big. You get him ginormous list. You get huge lists that you're not going to find anywhere else in the world. You go to Northern Europe right now, you check her DNA. What does she have? 3 Irish, Northern European, some Irish in there, some, maybe some Spaniard, maybe some, depending of where you look for, you're going to find 50% of something, 30% of something, and a little bit on the side, but it's not going to be the experiment, the social experiment, which unfortunately, that's where the problem comes from. They should have never done that. They should have never done that. That's why they're all over the world. That's why, and from my view as a doctor, it's the reason that they're all over the world. Because up here, there's all this pride, this and that, blame somebody for the problems in the island and make a colony around the world like a parasite would. And I'm not gonna offend people here, but this is how they do it. They make a colony of these people within the next 60 years, and you cannot come in that anymore. You cannot find a job there. They replace you. They replace you wherever they are. Orlando, Kissimmee. Oh, that wasn't there in 1980s. That wasn't there in 1990s. You see that? You see how quick they proliferate in an area like that. Wherever they have that single person, let's say I'm there, right? People over listening. Oh, he's there. I want to go. I want to go. Boom, 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 boom. You got 15. Those 15 reproduce in the next 10 years. Friends of those people are going to also move to the area, and you end up colonies. They make colonies of people in which you are going to be discriminated, and they're not going to let you have a job if they don't identify you as one of theirs. You're not going to get nothing. In fact, they're going to try to take from you. They're going to need you for everything. They're going to take it for everything. They're going to try to take things from you 100%. So, and they're doing this globally, baby. They're in Indonesia. They're in Bali. They're in Hawaii. They're in China. They're in Taiwan. They're in Northern Europe. They're in the middle of Sweden. All these people make these colonies around the world, and no other race does that. Who does that? The guy with the 20 genes. So we're going to end up being them. We're going to end up being them eventually. You see what I mean? We're either with a 50-50 chance going to have the DNA in hundreds of years later. We're either going to have the DNA of a Brazilian based on amount of people in the world, right? Based on the number of people within that general area, or a Caribbean guy, a Dominican guy, a Puerto Rican guy with a string of 20 something odd DNAs looking up intermixed interracial with one that has 3. Ones that are basically extinct. You could consider people that have 3, that 57% genes, extinct race. That's a race, baby. They should be considered animals. From a flora and fauna perspective, you got to categorize them. You got to check their DNA, and you got to put them as endangered species and put it on a label. We need a man to reproduce with these female that has 60% Northern Irish blood, all ginger, before you lose the ginger race. And this is real in Europe. Before you lose that race altogether. Why? Because the world in itself is becoming a platform for people from whomever contaminate the source. You know, because that's what we are. We're a parasite. We're bacteria on the world. We're the smartest bacteria on the world's living surface, and the one that has the paperwork, the 30, 25 papers with all these small ass percents, is the one that's looking to go out there and reproduce with someone that has 57%. That's nearly pure, because so that the offspring of that is going to have now 30%, 49%, a big number of the mom's side, but then everything else that the father caught back based on this experiment. How can we stop them? How can we stop the world races from becoming extinct? I don't know. 50-foot fences. That's the only way. That's the only way. Globally, 50-foot fences. And define us by fauna and flora, not just countries, but by genes, by type, by percent, by amount, because we're going to end up sacrificing everything. These people, the way these people think and like to colonize the world, we're all going to end up them. And we wouldn't never go travel internationally like that. We will never make a colony like they do it. And they do it like a bee's nest, like a wasp nest. When there's that one queen, that one individual that they will go there, they all go there. Every single one, boom, to that area. And my father is guilty of that. I'm not gonna find a job so that one Hispanic behind me is looking to find a job where I'm at. I'm not into that. That's what they do. I'm not into that. I'm not going to work in a corporation just so that word gets out. Oh yeah, he's in so corporation at so Fifth Avenue and the 45th floor, blah blah blah. So that one, the chosen one, based on communication lines, ends up knocking at that door and looking to work there too. That's not right. But this is what these people do. This is what these people is guilty of. And when they want to discriminate you, bro, they'll do whatever to you. And it's always to make you suffer. It's always nitpicking what you do. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. Oh, not this. Oh, not that. Oh, not here. Oh, not this. Oh, the plug. Oh, the seat. Oh, don't sit here. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. And that triggers people. People like myself that are 100% freedom, that I don't care who's around me. And they want to appear, show front. Yeah, I want to decide what he's going to do. I'm a big macho, strong Hispanic guy. That's not right, B. That's not right. They're not live and let live. They're they're something different. Hope you guys have a good stream. I gotta get to work. The library opens tomorrow. Tomorrow, baby. Finally. We're gonna wake up in the morning. We're gonna get our coffee. We're gonna wait for the library to open and we're gonna run there. And once we're there, there's gonna be no stream, no stock trading, no nothing, and all money making. 100%. I've wasted way too much money. And once I get there, I'm gonna make $15 in one day. Tomorrow, 15 guaranteed. 15. I'm going for five here, five here, five here. Quickly. Pump that, pump that out, because we gotta get back to work, B. Hope you guys have a good day.